Greetings, fellow Minecrafters. Today we're going to do a tutorial on how to use the DomeCraft app to build an elliptical dome in Minecraft. Now, DomeCraft is an app for Android tablets and smartphones that will provide the guidance in how to where to place the blocks to build the spherical or elliptical dome structure. And you can find the DomeCraft app on the Google Play Store. Just search for DomeCraft and you'll find it up near the top somewhere. Watch for this icon and just download it. It's a free app and it can help you out a lot with these kinds of structures. We're not going to talk today about pixel crafting or portal crafting, but those are some other tools that can help you do things in Minecraft. If you like to do pixel art, pixel crafting is a great tool for that. Portal crafting is really just a calculator that helps you align your portals between the different dimensions. So you can study those on your own. Today we're going to talk about building domes, and we're going to start out by setting the dimensions of our dome. So we click on the settings button and it brings up this dialog. Now by default it's going to tell us how to build a spherical dome where the width, height, and depth are all the same. But today we want to build something that's elliptical, where it has different axes. So we uncheck this box, and that enables us to set each of these dimensions independently. And what I'm going to build today is going to be 15 wide, and it's going to be 18 tall. Now 18 is the height of a sphere, but we're only building a dome, so the real thing is going to be 9 high. And so when you want to build a dome that's 9 high, you want to double that value for putting in the parameter, and that's because it's doing the math as though it were a complete ellipsoid. Okay, and then we're going to do 21 for the other dimension. So now in Minecraft coordinates, if you've never gotten into them, X and Z are the horizontal coordinates, and then Y is the height. So I apologize for that. I just have to be consistent with the way they do things. Now after I've entered these numbers, if I want to know how many blocks it'll take to implement this structure, I can click on this Calculate Resources, and it'll tell me that it will take 7 stacks plus 24 blocks of glass or whatever material you want to build your dome out of. So if you're working in survival mode and you want to know how much you're going to have to collect, that'll tell you. So it shows us here what one quadrant looks like, and so if you take this quadrant and flip it over to the other 4, you'll see the ellipse that you'll have when you wind up. Now because we selected an odd width and an odd length or depth, this middle column and this middle row are shared between the two sides. So we said we wanted it to be 15 wide. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7 plus a shared row, and then when you flip this over, you'll have that shared row plus 7 more. So you have 7 twice, 14 plus 1 is 15, and that's where we got the odd width. If we had set an even width, then this note wouldn't be here, and you'd need to repeat this column on each side. So that's pretty straightforward. And then I'll show you how we use these flip and orient commands when we actually get started working. The controls down here set which layer you're on, and it starts at layer 0. That's going to be the bottom layer. And then moves up and down with these buttons, or you can drag this slider to move things as well. Now I'm running this in an emulator so that I can do the screen capture. On the actual device, it's quite a bit snappier than it is here. We see some delays while we're trying to change things on this emulator, but the actual app is very snappy. Okay, so I've got the layout for the first layer. Now when we get done, our structure is going to look kind of like this one. This is the same thing that we're about to build, and I'll go through it layer by layer and show you some of the techniques to use in building this. But this is what we're going to wind up with. So we're going to start over here. Now I usually put a door in the center and so that's what I put this dirt block here. I can dig this dirt block back out later when I want to put the door in, but it makes for continuity here. And so when I look back over here, this is going to be my door spot, and so I need 3 more blocks of glass and then start moving around. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, and you can see I'm following that pattern here. And then 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to flip this up so that it shows me the pattern for the next quadrant. Now remember, this block is shared, so we've already placed that block, and so I need 5 more. 1, whoop, 1. Why is that not Play-Doh? There it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 1, 1. And then across 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again this is the shared block, and so I'm going to flip it over the other way, come back, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going to flip it up to get to the last quadrant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, and I'm back to where I started. Now my door is going to be 2 blocks tall, so I'm going to put another block of dirt here, and I'm going to go over and I'm going to go up to the next layer, which the second layer is going to be layer 1, and I'm going to follow this pattern. Now it's just a little bit different now. So that's 1, 2. Now let me flip over here. 2, and then 1, 2, and then 1. Now here I'm going to do a little creeping. Now if you haven't done creeping before, if you hold down the shift key, it keeps you from falling off things. So I'm holding down the shift while I'm going backwards, and I get stuck at the edge here. I can't fall while I'm holding the shift key, and then I can click and place a block there without falling. And that's an important technique here. So I'm going to creep again to place this block. And then we go across here, and this time we're at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I don't have to creep here. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, creep again, creep again, 2, 2, 2. And that's got our second layer done. So now we come over for the third layer, and now I'm going to switch to glass for that block because I don't need door anymore. 2, 1. Now here we get to where I have to place a block here, and I don't have anything to connect to. And so I'm going to place another block here. I'm going to place a block of dirt there to connect the glass to, and then I'll go dig that dirt out. Now, when you're working in creative mode like we are now, you could just place a block of glass there and then blow the glass out. But when you work in survival mode like I usually do, you're more careful with your resources because you worked a lot harder to collect and smelt all that glass and all the resources and everything, and so you're less willing to waste that block. So you place a block of glass and then just blow that one out. It's a little easier, but I lost a block of glass doing that. So when I'm working in survival mode, what I do instead is I use dirt. I'll place a block of dirt there, place a block of glass there, and then I can just dig that dirt out and recollect it and keep it. And you can get by with 1 or 2 blocks of dirt to cover the whole structure and not lose glass every time you turn around. Alright, that's the third layer. We'll go up one more layer. I'll be creeping again here. Now you notice I've quit flipping the display every time. You get to where you learn the pattern and you don't need to reorient it every time to keep track of where you're going. Although sometimes you may still want to do that when you get into confusing things. We'll do that some more when we get up higher up a little bit. But you'll learn after you've been doing this a while. You do that first quadrant and pick up the pattern on it, and it's pretty easy to repeat that the rest of the way around. Whoops. A little too quick on the trigger there. Alright, and then we're ready for the next layer. Now when we move up here, we notice that it moved in a layer, and we need it from the center. We need 3, so we can actually kick off of this guy here. 1, 2, 3. That saved us a little bit of work, but now we have another one here that we don't have anything to connect it to. So I'll place a block of dirt over there, and this time I can actually connect 2 different blocks of glass to that one block of dirt. Okay, so I've got the 3, the 1, 2, and then here we're back to being able to creep a little bit. And we moved in again here too, so then this goes all the way across. Picks up the first one there, 1, 2, and then we'll see this same pattern in each corner, where we can use the 1 block of dirt for 2 blocks of glass. Now you notice I can just about creep continuously as I'm going across there by holding down the shift key. Shift and move backwards and right click all together. Oops, did that wrong. Lost a block of glass there. So here I'm just holding down Shift S and right click, and it just moves continuously down the line. That was a cow. Saw one hanging out down there. There's another layer finished. We go up one more layer. Now this time we can't use that trick we used last time. We've got to get 3 blocks across here, but there's nothing to tie them to. So I'm going to jump up and stick some dirt underneath me, and then I'm going to attach glass to that, and then I'm going to run my 3 blocks, and then again I've got to do 2 blocks of glass here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, here, normally I'd have to put a block of dirt there to connect to, but I can reach that over there, so I just connect across. And that finishes another layer. So we'll move on up to the next one. Now here we're starting to see a little different pattern because we're just starting to get into roof type stuff. So I'll show you some techniques that you can use here. Now here we can do a lot more creeping. And let me flip this around so that it's oriented the way we are. And you can kind of see me following that pattern here. Now, I still have to do dirt occasionally, like right here I'm going to have to get one started. And then we skim across here. And I'll need to do another dirt. Place it out there just because that's a little more convenient. Now, I'll show you another trick here. It doesn't matter when you're in creative mode, when you can get up and fly and when you have unlimited supplies with you. But in survival mode, sometimes you need to get down to get more resources, or because nightfall came, or whatever. And so you carry some sand with you, and I can build a sand ladder here and then jump down. And you get up really high and you take fall damage when you do that. And then to get back up, I shouldn't have taken that last block of sand out. To get back up, you just jump, hold your finger on the space bar to jump, and right click on the sand to place sand underneath you, and that builds you a ladder back up, and then you can leave that there to reuse next time you need to get down. You just have to remember when you finish the dome to be able to fill that hole back in. It's starting to get dark here, and we're gonna keep it daylight for now. Alright, and that's the 7th layer, which is 6 here because we started at 0. So we move up another layer. Now we're starting to get more of a roof type effect to our dome now, and so that'll enable us to start doing some slightly quicker techniques. So here I'm going to do it this way, and you can kind of see where I'm following the same pattern that it shows on DomeCraft. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I just repeat that, except that it's, because of the shared column, it's one different. there should be a block of glass there, and I'll come back and put that in later when we go down after we're finished. For now, I'll leave that block of sand there. Helps me remember where my ladder is. And there's another layer finished. We should have only one left, so this is layer 8, actually the 9th layer. We asked for it to be 9 tall, so that all worked out just exactly right. And because this is the final layer, it's really just filling in the hole that's open, so you don't have to pay a whole lot of attention to what the app says at this point. You just fill in the empty hole here. Well, I usually work my way around the edge, and then it's real easy to quickly fill in all the remaining spots. And I'm holding the shift key most of the time so that I don't accidentally fall off of things. It makes you move a little more slowly, but you're not usually moving very far, and so that works out well. Take care of that piece of dirt. Now this structure is actually short enough that you could climb down the side of it. You get to taller structures, and you kind of need this ladder to be able to get off of it without falling and hurting yourself. So I dig down a little bit, place that last block of glass, and now the dome shell is finished. Take that out, put a door in there, and you can see we have our outer shell finished. And you can do just about anything you want to fill in. I've built gardens inside structures like this. I've built arboretums in here. You build a house or just anything. You can look at the other video for some other ideas. What I'm going to do now is come in here with some sandstone to put a quick floor in. And the reason I use sandstone, you can use anything you want for the inside here, but I usually do most of my domes in sand biomes, and so I wind up with a lot of, by the time you've collected enough sand to make this much glass, you've usually collected some sandstone too. So it's a convenient material. That just doesn't want to go in the right place. And what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to take up all your time with this part of it. I'm going to edit here in a minute and show you the finished product. I'm going to show you a little bit about lighting patterns. It really doesn't have anything to do with domes, but if you're going to do patterned lighting, you may want to take that into account when you're sizing your dome, and I'll talk about that here in a minute when we get to that. Okay, we're back. I've put the floor in. Now I'm going to put some lighting in. Now, one of the reasons I prefer to have odd diameters is it makes for so you have an actual center to things, and everything can be symmetric about that. And you need to put some thought into what's going to be inside your structure. Sometimes you actually do want an even thing so that you have kind of a center line and an even number of, an equal number of steps on either side. And I really didn't want that there. 1, 2, 3. But this way I have a center, and then everything can be symmetric around that. Now I like this to do my lighting on this pattern of a 4-block diagonal. It's actually a little bit more light than is required to keep the mobs out, especially when you're using jack-o'-lanterns. With torches, it's still a little more than you need, but it's just when you get into mining and other things, it's nice to have this level of light, and that makes a nice pattern. And then here in the center is where I would, well, there's lots of things you can do there. You put your ladder there, or your mine there, or you do your mine from the corner. And And then we'll put some lights in for the floor up above. We'll start out here in the center. Okay. And because jack-o'-lanterns have to be placed on a block, you can't just place them beside a block. You have to do this little trick with stubbing things out underneath and then coming back up and putting the jack-o'-lanterns in. So now we come down here. Place our jacks. There we go. Of course, you can do anything you want to build this out. This is really just a shell. The purpose is to show you how to build dome structures. You put anything you want in here for a floor. Now I'm going to extend the lights outside, the same lighting pattern outside. Like I say, I usually play in survival mode, and having plenty of light out is important to keep the mobs down. I like survival mode better because you have to work for it. You appreciate things more when you work for them. You do this in creative mode and in 30 minutes you're done and have to move on to something else, and it gets boring in a hurry. But if you have to deal with food and survival and staying away from mobs for very long, something's not right there. How did I get the pattern off? Oh, that one's wrong. That looks better. And there's our completed dome. Now, for some more ideas on things you can do with this tool, there's another video out there that doesn't show how to build these things, but shows a lot of different structures that are tied together with some interesting things. If you look for the Mars Base 1 video, you'll see a lot of other cool ideas of things that you can build that this tool will help you do. And again, that's DomeCraft, available on the Google Play Store. Just search for DomeCraft and look for this logo, and you'll find it. I hope you enjoy it. Happy Minecrafting.